Good day, everyone. Today, we will dig into or explore the concept of transitional justice and accountability. Transitional justice, which is an essential framework for rebuilding societies after conflict or repressive regimes. Our goal is to explore how transitional justice mechanisms address past human rights violations and promote long-term peace, healing, and reconciliation in post-conflict societies. Now, so what is exactly transitional justice? It refers to a broad set of judicial and non-judicial measures implemented by societies to redress the legacies of massive human rights abuses. And these mechanisms include criminal prosecutions, truth commissions, reparations, and institutional reforms that aim to address past wrongs and facilitate recovery. Now let's go to the core principles. There are core principles that guide transitional justice processes. First, the truth. Acknowledging the suffering of victims and the full scale of violations. Then justice, which means upholding perpetrators accountable. Reparation is crucial to restoring victims' dignity, and non-recurrence ensures the prevention of future abuses. Most importantly, the process must be victim-centered, focusing on the needs and voices of those who suffer. Next slide. Accountability. Let us define accountability. Accountability is at the heart of transitional justice. It's about holding perpetrators responsible for their actions. This process strengthens the rule of law, prevents impunity, and fosters public trust in justice systems. Without accountability, we risk repeating past mistakes and allowing cycles of violence to continue. There are four primary mechanisms used in transitional justice. First is criminal prosecutions. This can be handled by the national or international courts, such as at the local level, Sandigan Bayan, or ito yung sikat ngayon, ICC, International Criminal Court. Number two, truth commissions. These serve as platforms for documenting past atrocities and providing a space for victims to tell their stories. Number three, reparations programs. These programs include both compensation and symbolic acts, such as the Claims Board for martial law victims in the Philippines. And fourthly, institutional reforms. Reforms, particularly in the judicial and civility sectors, ensure long-term stability and prevent future human rights violations. These are some samples or types of justice in transitional justice. We have retributive justice, punishing perpetrators through legal processes. Number two, procedural justice, ensuring fairness in legal processes and institutional reforms. Number three, restorative justice, healing victims and communities through truth and reconciliation. And four, distributive justice. Ito yung addressing socioeconomic inequalities caused by past abuses. Now, let's look at some international examples, some case studies. In South Africa, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission helped heal wounds post-apartheid. In Rwanda, the Gakaka courts helped to bring justice after genocide. Ito yung may movie na nag-portray nito, yung Hotel Rwanda. It was recorded that almost 1 million died in the ethnic cleansing civil war between two tribes, the Hutu and the Tutsi. A minority, almost 800 Tutsi ang napaslang at namatay. in this war. And Colombia's peace agreement also incorporated transitional justice, aiming to address decades of violence and human rights violations. These global examples illustrate that transitional justice, though challenging, can play a vital role in fostering peace and reconciliation. Now, let us go to the Philippine case studies. Now, let's examine Philippines. The martial law period, 1972-1981, was marked by grave violations, including torture, killings, and disappearances. The Republic Act number 1036-8 was enacted to provide reparations and recognition for the victims of human rights abuses. So another significant process is the Bangsamoro peace process, which aims to resolve the decades-long conflict in Mindanao through autonomy and justice. Lastly, war on drugs. So, for academic discussion, so it continues to face scrutiny which calls for justice regarding victims of extrajudicial killings. The Bangsamoro peace process. So, is one of the most significant ongoing efforts in the Philippines. After decades of conflict in Mindanao, the 2014 Comprehensive Agreement on the Bangsamoro was a crucial step toward peace, promising greater autonomy for the Bangsamoro people. As part of the agreement, there are ongoing reforms and progress is being made in addressing both political and social justice. The last would be the IPs, the Indigenous People Struggles. So, in the Philippines, Indigenous peoples in the Philippines have faced significant challenges, especially in conflict zones, especially yung mga land-related conflict. Violations against them include displacement, militarization, and loss of ancestral lands. So, since nandito tayo sa Maguindanao context, so we know some IPs. Maybe perhaps we have some friends na IPs mismo. Yung mga Tedorais, UPI, of course yung mga Lambangian. So, and as the Indigenous Peoples' Rights Act or IPRA law was enacted to protect IP rights. But the full implementation of this law remains an ongoing struggle. So continued calls for the protection of the IPs, mga katutubo natin mga kapatid, and the full enforcement of IPRA are essential for achieving justice. Now, in the Philippines, there are several challenges in implementing transitional justice. There is political resistance to holding perpetrators fully accountable and a weak rule of law and issues with witness protection. Additionally, historical revisionism and misinformation. Maraming fake news dyan. Misinformation complicate madaling gumawa ng fake news ngayon. Complicate the narrative around past human rights violations. And there are psychological and social challenges as victims continue to face stigma and trauma from the past. Now, why accountability matters? Accountability matters for several reasons. First, it restores public trust in institutions and reaffirms that no one is above the law. Holding perpetrators accountable is essential for upholding the rule of law and providing justice and closure for victims. It also prevents future abuses as it deters others from committing similar crimes. Ultimately, it promotes healing and reconciliation as victims and communities are able to move forward with the truth preserved. Additionally, accountability is the key to countering historical revisionism, which can distort the truth and prevent society from learning from the past. Conclusion: the path to healing and justice. To conclude, transitional justice is not just about holding perpetrators accountable. Hindi lang yun. It's also about healing a wounded society. Healing a wounded society is a process that addresses the past, promotes accountability, and paves the way for a more peaceful and just future. While the Philippines has made significant progress in some areas, there is still much work to be done. By continuing to push for justice and accountability, and by ensuring that the victims' voices remain at the center of the process, we can hope for a more just and reconciled society. Before we end, these are some pictures of my actual experience with working with justice and accountability. And before we end, here are the sources that informed our discussion, very brief discussion today. I encourage you to refer to them for more in-depth reading on transitional justice and its implications in the Philippines and worldwide. Mabuhay tayong lahat. So, thank you so much. So, there is truth, there is justice, kasama doon ang reparation, and of course, we always aim for a bright future. Thank you so much.